Welcome to the second edition of the Main Event Wrestling Podcast, right here on YouTube. I am Dan Fitch. Hello. Good day to you all. What is coming up on the show today? We are going to look once again ahead to Here We Go, which goes down on Friday the 17th of August at the Innisfree in Long Benton. We've got a change to the main event for that particular show. We've also got some more match announcements since last week's show. We've got interviews as well today with some of the competitors that are going to be appearing. So we've got interviews with Mick from the Byker Mauls, and also Molly Spartan will be giving her thoughts ahead of her triple threat clash. We're also going to look back at the World of Sport debut, which happened on Saturday, and give you a full rundown of what to expect in a couple of weeks at Here We Go. So I think that is a very good place to start. So, as you might have seen on Facebook and Twitter and other forms of social media, Adam Maxted has decided not to defend, that's right, not to defend, the MEW British Heavyweight Championship in 2 weeks at Here We Go. I understand we're reaching out to him. This is largely down to he feels that his forthcoming match with HT Drake in September at the Northern Bash, just a little bit too close for him to be defending that title. Some might say he's a chicken, some might say he's very smart. We'll have to wait and see in September when he faces HT Drake and puts that title on the line against the Toon Tussle winner. So, with that decision made, that leaves Grado without an opponent for Here We Go. And that is where we stepped in, spoke to Rory Coyle, who was without a match for the show, and he is signed on the dotted line, I think it might have been in blood, in order to face Grado one-on-one at the show. What a clash of styles this is going to be. You've got Grado, this huge megastar, competes for Impact Wrestling in America and Canada. He competes World of Sport. He's the figurehead, former World of Sport heavyweight champion on ITV. He stars in BBC sitcoms. Huge star in ICW, former ICW heavyweight champion. He's a huge star in MEW in his own right. Never ever once been defeated in singles action in an MEW ring in the 4 years that he's been wrestling for us. He's going to go up against Rory Coyle, the former MEW tag team champion, who's been something on a roll since he went solo, put in a fantastic performance at the Toon Tussle. I think he may have got the most eliminations in that match as well. He's very unpredictable, got a very unique style. This, in fact, is probably a clash of styles. Who knows who's going to win? Who knows what's going to go down? It's a match that I personally never thought I would see. It's going to happen though. Friday the 17th of August, Grado versus Rory Coyle, one-on-one. Who knows what's going to happen? There's only one way to find out, that is be there in person. What a huge match this is going to be. You've also got, just announced this week on social media, another huge encounter for Here We Go. It is going to be Shreddy Breck, I'll try and do an impression, clanging and banging, going up against Sean Only. Now, a few of you might be saying, who is Sean Only? Let me tell you all about him. Made his MEW debut back in January of 2016, doing a very impressive display in that match. He went on in May of that year to then go and face Jason Prime, Liam Slater, and Ian Robinson in a four-way in what was the main event of that particular show for the MEW heavyweight title. Again, looked really good in it. Unfortunately, he had some injuries that happened around about that time. He's really rebounded from those injuries in a big way. He's gone on to win titles all across the UK in the last 2 years. He's been a title champion, TNT champion. I think he's the current reigning Wrestle Island champion down in Liverpool. This guy has won it all. He's been everywhere. He's seen it all. He is not a man that should be overlooked by Shreddy Breck. Now, Shreddy Breck just tasted his first taste of victory last month at the Toon Tussle when he defeated Boris Kozlov. Does that mean that Shreddy is finally on a roll here in MEW? There's certainly no bigger test though than Sean Only. I can't really call who's going to win this one. You've got the experience of Only. You've got Shreddy, who is absolutely one of a kind. It's a match that I'm really looking forward to seeing. And it takes place Friday the 17th of August at the Innisfree. Here we go. Now let's look ahead to some of the other matches. Another match which has recently been announced is the MEW Northeast title will be on the line when the Beast from the Northeast, Assassin, will go one-on-one with one member of the Byker Maul. It will either be Bonnie Mark or War Mick that he takes on. They are not going to decide or announce it until the night of the show, which pretty much, I think, leaves Assassin at a bit of a disadvantage in that he's going in there with the fear of the unknown. It could be one of them, it could be none of them. For instance, at Toon Tussle, they roped in Connor Renshaw to take one of their places. Has to be said, these two newcomers are very, very sneaky in terms of how they've gone about their MEW career so far, blindsiding the Kings of Cosplay, or the Cosplay Kings, a few months ago in their debut, replacing their partner at the last minute, destroying Nikki Starr with a pineapple of all things, absolutely obliterating him at the end of Toon Tussle. And now Assassin, with his Northeast title on the line, which he's held since March, is now going to go up against one of them. Who's going to win this one? Well, I think one person who thinks he might have a slight advantage here is one member of the Byker Maul, which is War Mick, and we caught up with him this week.
Assassin, I hear you've been flapping your gums about what happened at the Toon Tussle. You're going to get revenge. Well, let me tell you something, big fella. The last 2 times we're in the ring, you got hurt. So the revenge you're going to get for your little lapdog, Nikki Starr, isn't going to happen. On August the 17th, you're going to get finished. There'll be no more beasts from the Northeast.
It's not just the men that's going to be in action at Here We Go. We've also got a women's triple threat match taking place when it will be Little Miss Roxy, Gemini, and the debuting Molly Spartan going up against each other. Again, a really, really tough one to call. We spoke about it on the podcast last week. Roxy and Gemini have really got their issues. Does that then give Molly her in order to win this match? Molly sent us over a video last week. I'm going to play it for you in just a moment. Just to be wary though, she seems very intimidating. She seems, to me, maybe a little bit too cocky going into this one, because we know just how tough Roxy and Gemini are going to be. We'll have to wait and see, but in the meantime, let's hear from Molly.
For those that don't know who I am the Queen of Brutality, the beautiful bruiser herself, Molly Spartan. And on the 17th of August, I make my MEW debut. And for those who do know who I am, know that I am no one-trick pony, and I leave my mark in whatever promotion I'm in. Now, looking towards my match, Little Miss Roxy, you are more than a formidable opponent, and I can't wait to throw you from pillar to post. But you, Gemini, you want to be the new big bad? And darling, you better get less predictable. See, I seen what you did when you DDT'd Little Miss Roxy on that stage. Thing is, I seen it coming. I don't know how anybody else didn't. I mean, if you want a few lessons on how to be this brutal, yet this beautiful, I might take you under my wing. But the one thing I know on the 17th of August is that us three are going to tear each other limb from limb. And we are going to be on everybody's lips by the end of that show. See you on the 17th, girls. Now let's get ready for a scrap.
Making its long-awaited return to our TV screens this past Saturday night on ITV was World of Sport Wrestling. We previewed it in last week's show. I just wanted to give you my thoughts on terms of how I saw it, having watched it myself. Let's start from the top and what was really good about it. Loved Will Ospreay versus Harry Smith. Davey Boy Smith Jr. was a British Bulldog Jr. I don't really know. Either way, fantastic match. Went into it thinking this is going to be a clash of styles. This isn't maybe going to be the best display of Ospreay's aerial ability. Blew me out the water. Fantastic match from both men. Really set the scene well in terms of what we can come to expect. So you've got the nod to the past with Harry Smith, and then you've also got Will Ospreay potentially maybe seen as the future in there as well. I thought that both men complemented each other really well. It would be nice maybe to have seen whether one was going to be more of a heel or a face. They both kind of played the face within the show. But overall was really, really impressed with that particular encounter. Definitely the match of the night for myself. We opened the show, of course, with what I thought was maybe a little bit confusing. If I was a new viewer, I'd definitely be confused with it, which was the 5-way match to open it. Quite pleased to see the creator didn't take the biggest part in that particular encounter. No offence to creator or anything, but guy needs some new gear. Adam Maxted also in that match. Adam was absolutely phenomenal in it. Loved the interplay at the start. He looked like the superstar that he is. Of course, he is the MEW Heavyweight Champion. Overall, although bits were a little bit confusing in terms of who could win, what the outcome was going to be, it was a nice showcase for some of the wrestlers in the show, and start to see introduce you to some of the faces that you're going to be seeing over the coming weeks. I also really enjoyed the tag team match. Kip Sabian was fantastic, a really good promo from him at the start as well. Martin Kirby's heel turn was brilliantly done. Old school classic of the partner just getting up and walking away, not wanting to tag in. Joe Hendry, maybe the most over person with the crowd all night. The crowd loved him. He came across like a superstar. He's really, you can tell as well that he's really been working on his wrestling over the last year or so. He looked phenomenal. The tag match when it was happening was really good, and the outcome also sets off a couple of nice things. So we got to see, I can never say this guy's name right, Easton Reese and Kip Sabian as a good solid tag team. They look like a good unit. And then you've also now got the Joe Hendry Martin Kirby feud, which actually I'm really looking forward to seeing. I actually really like seeing Martin Kirby as a heel, which he was in this particular match. So really looking forward to that. Of course, started out with the main man Grado came out to open the show. Grado again massively over with the fans. His promo at the start was hilarious, got the crowd involved with it, but I really enjoyed the interplay between him and Bad News Barrett or Stu Bennett or whatever name he's going by on this particular incarnation. And then Stu Bennett afterwards and commentary, I think, really backed it up and sort of got his heel persona over, his general manager persona over as well. And though I might be sick to death of seeing heel general managers and owners, and I think we've all seen it so many times, the stuff that he did was very good. Good on the mic, good in commentary as well. Alex Shane did a good job as well on commentary. So really excited to see how that progresses. And also it gives Grado a nice storyline as well. In terms of any negatives, I think it's pretty much what everyone else has maybe already said. I think the main negatives for myself was the camera work. It was a bit sloppy. Some of the shots were missed, and then I think it was the Justin Sizen match. He did a clothesline, and before he was even hitting the mat, we got an instant replay over the top of it, which I can absolutely see that World of Sport and ITV want to put their own stamp and their own unique look on it, but at the same time it kind of takes you out of the match by doing an instant replay. I know that the WWE for years have done the double feature thing where they show the replay but it isn't taking up the whole screen, so you can kind of still keep your flow of your match going if you want to. That would probably be the main thing I would say that I'd love to see improved. In terms of watching it, it was an hour long show, less if you fast forward the adverts, and the hour absolutely flew by. It just goes to show stuff like World of Sport Wrestling, NXT 205 Live, not a chore to watch whatsoever. An hour long is probably a perfect time for a wrestling weekly TV show. 2 hours at the very most. Really enjoyed it. Looking forward to seeing what happens this Saturday. I think the only things I've seen advertised ahead of this Saturday show at 5 PM is Liam Slater in a ladder match. Really looking forward to seeing that. Former MEW Northeast champion and a huge star here in MEW from back in the day. And then they've also got the women's title, I think I've seen advertised, with Bea Priestley, Kaylee Ray, and I think Viper in there as well. So some of the best women in the whole of the UK, maybe even the whole of the world, getting involved with that. So really looking forward to seeing how this week's show plays out. So before we wrap it up this week, just want to quickly give you a reminder of what you can see on Friday the 17th of August for Here We Go. Tickets are selling very, very well, as they always do for an MEW show. We've got, at last count, roughly about 20 left. If you are wanting tickets, message us on Facebook, check us out on Ringside World, message us, slide into our DMs on Twitter as well if you want to, and check that out. We would love to see you. It's going to be an amazing show. Let's run it down. We have got, the main event is Grado, fresh off World of Sport, going one-on-one against the sick boy himself, Mr. Rory Coyle. You've also got, as you can probably see on your screen, a huge grudge match between Prince Amin and Chris Renfrew, with Jose Malego in Amin's corner and myself keeping a very watchful eye on that particular encounter. We've got a women's triple threat match between Little Miss Roxy, Gemini and Molly Spartan, which I'm very much looking forward to seeing. We've got Shreddy Breck going up against Sean Only. We've also got the Northeast title on the line, as Assassin will defend against one member of the Byker Maul, whichever one it may be. And we've also got more action taking place as well on this particular show in the form of the MEW tag team titles finally being decided, as the Brothers Rage, Joe and Benji, go up against the Rogues Gallery. Another huge grudge match coming off what happened to Toon Tussle when they attacked Joe backstage and he wasn't able to get into the match. What is going to happen here when those two colossal teams go up against each other? One team has to win and one team has to become the new MEW tag team champions. And make sure that you are checking us out on Facebook and Twitter and all over the place, Instagram, because we will also have one more match to announce over the coming days for that particular show. And that's not all we've got coming up. We've also got getting released probably the back end of next week, we think now. The whole of Toon Tussle 3 will be uploaded completely free of charge onto the Main Event Wrestling YouTube channel, with commentary provided by myself and Mr. Tom Campbell. We've also got more wrestling action coming your way on Friday the 28th of September at the Innisfree in Long Benton, which you're going to start hearing more about over the coming weeks. This is the biggest show of the year. This is the granddaddy of them all. This is our 13th, yes, 13th birthday. This is Main Event Wrestling Northern Bash. Now, this particular show doesn't have any matches announced just yet. We'll have to wait and see what happens at Here We Go first. But appearing at the show, as you can probably see from the poster, is Adam Maxted and HT Drake, who we know will be competing against each other for the MEW title, unless anything happens between now and then. But Rory Coyle will be appearing, Chris Renfrew, Mia Jordan, Little Miss Roxy, Shreddy Breck, loads more to be announced, and it's going to be an incredible night of action. We are selling those tickets now as well if you're interested. Available, as I said before, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Ringside World. Hit us up on any of them to get some tickets for this, our 13th anniversary show. Now, for me, that is all we've got time for this week. Hope you've enjoyed the second episode of Main Event Wrestling Podcast. Please do make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. As I say, the Toon Tussle is going to be uploaded on that particular channel in the next few days. Until next time, I'll speak to you then.